but there's a lot of opposition by doctors, especially.
Yeah.
Towards healing, because they say, oh, it's not proven or whatever. Doctors do not want to admit that somebody who has no education can be a better healer than a doctor can be.
But we know that when we look at the Bible, not to get into the Bible, but we will all be able to do this. The
Sure.
more we are aligned with ourselves, with our light body and everything, everyone will be healers. But when we get to the fear stuff, because that's also to do with the doctors, that they are afraid of, losing their power or their prestige or something. But when we go to fear and death, I think it's very important that we need to make them understand that death is an illusion, and the one life, if you think there's only one life, you will get fearful because, there's so much you need to know and do and stress and all this, and you need to collect a lot of stuff while being here, but you have your experience about death and that it goes on forever, life.
Yes. In medical schools, it's very, very unfortunate that I understand that in any country, it's never taught to the medical students what it is to be a human being on this planet. They teach anatomy, they teach physiology, they teach the psyche, how it's sick, in psychiatry. But what are the limits of your consciousness? What is your consciousness? Where is it? What color is it? What form is it? You don't get these answers from the medical schools. And that's very wrong, because if we as students would get the right answers, we would totally differently treat our patients. Not just the body, but we would treat the energy. And doctors don't even generally know anything about the frequencies, that you can really, with different frequencies, cause from outside different emotions. And today's military technology is flabbergasting. I mean, it's like science fiction, but it is not science fiction. They can read your thoughts. That is, of course, thought signals, because every brainwave is different with different people. They are like we have fingertips. They are all unique. Our brain vibrations are unique too. And they can be caught by computers, especially supercomputers, which I now just heard the last figure was 280 trillion in a second. Now, because I have heard that figure, and previously it was much lower, so of course in secrecy it must be much, much more. And our brain waves are only 5,000 bits a second, so we have no match. We are no match to a computer. And they can control us totally. And as proof, the very, very sad experimentations with school children who are shooting their fellow school children and also their teachers in many, many countries. And the real reason for that experimentation is they are trying to change the laws to take away guns. So when the government terrorism really starts, nobody can defend themselves because we have no guns. And when you think that they can read our subconscious, they can read our dreams. So of course people say, oh, this is crazy, it's not possible. Well, unfortunately, those people are totally ignorant of today's extreme technology, which is not for public knowledge, because it's military technology. Military never tells how they have weapons of mass destruction. And mind control was already in 2002 in Geneva accepted as a weapon of mass destruction. Now, if a UN organization accepts things like this, people should wake up. But how many people read UN or United Nations reports? They don't.
But if people knew that, when we talk about mobile phones, if they knew that the mobile phones were invented as military systems, and they just put blue colors and ringtones and Mickey Mouse and everything on it, so it looks very appealing for human to as a toy, and they get addicted to it. If they knew that everything was invented as military systems, they might, start to wonder, what is this mobile phone actually doing to my brain?
It's a weapon. It's absolutely a weapon. And the worst thing is many parents give it to their children, because they say, oh, I have to know what the child knows and where the child is after school. Now, 20 years ago, we all lived without knowing where the child was after school.
Yeah.
And if we know that it's a weapon that can kill, it killed, for instance, in Chechnya, General Dudayev, he was talking to the mobile phone and his brain waves were just burnt.
Yeah.
They just add 20,000 times more frequency on it,
yeah.
more power on it, and they're burnt. And according to a paper I once read, the Food and Drug Administration in the United States has also said that one single phone call's effect stays 1 week in your brain. And you should never talk more than 2 minutes and then change to the other side, because the brain tumors that come and are going to be an epidemic in 20 years with us come from the microwaves, and they're always on the side which you use for the mobile phones. So if you love your children, don't ever give them a mobile until they're about 18, because their brain waves are not, and their brain and their nervous system is not developed until they are adults. And because the parents don't know, they're ignorant, and they say, if this would be dangerous, it would be all over the world. And even WHO is not admitting the facts, which I think is very, very disturbing for the health professionals.
Yeah, you say it's a weapon and it can kill you, but actually you can say it has killed the consciousness and you know, the deeper connection in people, because it seems like, actually when we talk about mind control, it seems like it works perfectly, because people, they don't question anything anymore. It's like when you say something to them, especially about children, please be careful, please, because this is not, your child has to develop, and so they will not develop right, then they will become crazy people or just be no use anymore. But they have the same kind of replies or answers to these questions, or when they are getting told, and it's like they are defending the industry. So actually it's like they have been subverted, so they actually defend the technology, but not their own health.
Well, I wouldn't say that they have killed the consciousness. I would say they have suppressed it totally.
Yeah.
Because they are wanting to have zombies in all the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have an unethical elite in the world that steers everything. And our governments, I don't care if it's the US government or Finnish or Norwegian, whatever, they have actually nothing to say. They are errand boys for the secret government that governs the world. And they want to get rid of 2/3 of world's population. That is the middle class especially, because middle class can read and write and can think until they suppress them into zombies. They want worker class, slaves, and themselves. And they claim that this is done because there are too many people on this planet and this planet can't take it.